good day, everyone. I'd like to welcome you back to the Bloody Fork Homestead. We're going to pick some bloody beans today, and we'd like to take you along the process. It's bean row right here. It is loaded right now. This will be the first picking of our Blue Lake green beans, and my wife, she'll be up shortly to join me in picking these beans. And what we'd like to do is take you along on the process of preserving them. One of the things that's so important when you have a garden is also being able to know how to preserve food, especially with food prices the way they are. So come with us, we invite you along, and we'll have a good bean picking time. This is the first step in our bean picking, and that's preparation, getting them ready to pick. And my beloved here is doing that. Tell me what you do to get them ready for canning.
For canning, well, we picked the beans, or you picked some of them today, and then we go and we try to get the ends off of them and any bad spots, and cut them or snap them, and then we'll rinse them off real good. And I washed up jars really good, and you can either wash the jars in the sink or you can wash them in the dishwasher, but we'll have a pot of water, boiling water, that I'll end up dipping the jars in to sterilize.
Yeah, and this is what we've got so far. We're hoping this will make about 16 pints that we'll do up today, and we'll show you the process we go through with that.
What I'm doing now is sterilizing the jars. So I get this really hot boiling water. After I've washed the jars thoroughly, I'm putting them in hot boiling water for a few minutes to sterilize them. And then after that, well, you have to be very careful. And one of these objects is a really good tool to have.
And then the next step after that, we'll show you just packing the beans in and putting some hot water in. The next step after packing the jars, my wife, she can explain it to you here, what she's doing.
Well, this is another handy dandy thing. It has some measurements on it, and you're supposed to fill these with water up to a ½ inch from the top, and the boiling water, and that's why we have the boiling water going on. And that's the next step. We're trying to get boiling water in with these. I don't put salt in with the beans. Some people do. And we are over 2,000 feet in elevation, so the pressure that we're going to use on it is going to be a little different too.
Yeah, and speaking of that, our pressure canner, we were talking about this. We realized we bought this early in our marriage, and I believe this thing is, what, 42 years old? That's hard to believe. It's an old Miro pressure canner, and it's been a great tool to have for many years. The only thing we really did to this, we bought a new gasket for it, and I think we got that a few years back, but it's been a great tool to have. This will do 16 pints at the same time, so we'll show you that process. After you fill it up with water, the next step is?
Well, we started last year doing these reusable canning lids, and it has this and a rubber thing that fits on top of the lid, on top of the lip, and this goes on top of it, and then you put a ring on it lightly. But we'll show you that, because what I'm doing is going to sterilize the rubber gasket and the lid, and then we'll be putting those on the beans, the jars. You have to make sure that there's nothing inhibiting on the top of the lids. I mean, on top of the jars.
Yeah, and I think those are manufactured by Harvest Guard, I believe it is, and we used them last year. They're good, and what's nice, I think you're supposed to be able to use these for like
5 or 6 times.
Yeah, 5 or 6 times with the little rubber gasket. So
I think you can keep using the white thing.
And the price of lids last year was ridiculous. They've come down a little bit now, I believe, but it was over $1 a piece for a lid last year during the pandemic. So that's when we bought those, thinking, well, we'll reuse these suckers. But anyway, we'll take you through the next step.
The next step in this process is we put this gasket on, put this white lid on top of it, and lightly put on the ring. Now the ring doesn't come with these. You get it like if you're with the canning supplies, you can get rings. Okay? I don't put them very tight, and then afterwards after we take it out of the canner, we're going to be tightening it more. But if you get this too tight on there, well, it has to relieve pressure. It's different than if you're using the one-time use lids for canning.
So we'll finish up these 16 and put them in the pressure canner and take them out after the prescribed time. It tells you in our little booklet, it tells us according to our elevation and what you're actually canning, how long to do it, and at what pressure.
We're doing it for 15 pounds of pressure, and that's after we put the lid on. It has these spots on it to put for 15, and when it starts jiggling, this will be a jiggling time on it, then we start counting 20 minutes. And then we turn off the heat.
That's it. This is what the pressure canner looks like. There's 2 layers of 8 each, 8 in each row. And they've got space in between each of the jars. And we're going to put the lid on it and show you the next thing we're doing. We have an outdoor cooker that we're using to can with, and one reason we're doing it out here is we have a glass top stove, and we tried canning with it before. It doesn't work out the best, and we found that this is a better method because it's LP, it's outside, it doesn't heat things up out here either, and also it doesn't ruin the glass top stove, which it gets pretty heavy too on a glass top. So that's the reason we're doing it out here. The last step as far as using the reusable lids is to tighten the lids after you take them out of the canner. They're still boiling inside, but these you have to tighten them down a little bit and then just let them set. After they're all sealed, we can take the bands off, but that's kind of the last step here. A hot step.